Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as I promised in the earlier videos, I'll be making a video about why I considered the Aprilia RS 457. Why not any other bike in this segment? And first of all, I want to thank all of you guys who have been showing so much love in the previous videos since the time I have taken delivery of this bike. Even before that, when I made the first ride review, city ride review, even that video has got awesome response, not only from India, but from the entire world, because I was the first one to feature it. So now the question comes, why did I buy this bike? So to give you a background to start with, I had a KTM Duke 390 2017 model, which was launched in 2017 in the BS4 variant. So I was one of the first lot owners back then who purchased the Duke 390, and I had been owning that bike for last 6 years. So when I got that bike, I wanted something which was very different. And KTM Duke 390 in the second generation, it was like that. It had electronic throttle, it had TFT console, and it had awesome low end torque. So those were the things which made me buy that bike. And in the last 6 years, my primary usage was commuting to office. So I stay around 40 kilometers away from my office. So that's the uh, that's the time when I spend most of the time riding my bike. Apart from that, I do couple of weekend rides, I can say, maybe 2 to 3 weekend rides in a month, not more than that. And when it comes to long drive, going out of station, touring, that is somewhere around not more than 2 to 3 times in an entire year. So touring was not never a main concern for me. The main concern was riding in the city. Since I have to travel a lot, approximately 80 kilometers, covering 80 kilometers in a day, and I want something which was more quicker than a commuter motorcycle. That's the reason why I went for Duke 390. Now, I from last 1 year, I wanted to upgrade to something which is better than a KTM Duke 390. To be frank enough, I have completely used the Duke 390 in last 6 years for about 62,000 kilometers, and it was a brilliant experience owning that motorcycle. I'll make another video. How was the ownership experience with that bike? So that was about the Duke 390. Now, when I was considering last year that I need to go for a new bike, uh, my main concern was the bike should not be heavy. And any bike which is heavy, it makes uncomfortable to be ridden in the city. That was one. Second, the bike should have good electronics, good overall package, like how KTM Duke 390 came back then. I wanted something like that. And the third main concern was the ground clearance. The ground clearance has to be good if it has to be used in the city for a day-to-day basis. So when last year I thought of upgrading my bike, I was looking what all options do I have. I wanted something which is more powerful, like a Ninja 400, but the ground clearance was an issue over there. I even got an opportunity to buy the Kawasaki Ninja 650, which was 3 years old. It was being sold by one of my mutual friends, I can say. So that bike was ridden for only 2100 kilometers, and it was 3 years old. It was in an absolutely mint condition. I can say it did not have any scratch. The owner just bought it because he wanted to have some big motorcycle. He was a businessman basically, but he never rode the bike. So all of my friends suggested, as you want to upgrade from a 390 to a next bike, why not go for this bike? This is a very nice motorcycle which you can own for the rest of your time, and you will have a joy of time because it has more power and torque figures than the Duke 390. So I went ahead and saw that bike. I really liked it. This was in the month of September last year that I saw that bike. After that, what happened? I did take a test ride of that bike. I really liked it. But after coming back home, I did question to myself, what is it? What will I be able to use this bike on a daily basis? Is it made for me? And the answer was no. The reason is it has a bigger capacity engine. These engine tends to heat a lot. And second thing, it is a very heavy motorcycle which cannot be ridden in the day, in day-to-day basis. Of course, it can do highway speeds very easily, very effortlessly than any other sub 400 or 500 cc motorcycle. But that's probably 1 or 2% of the time in the entire year I'll be using it on the highway. Most of my time goes in the city only. So then, after thinking for about 1 or 2 weeks, I arrived at a decision that I don't want to buy something which is uh, having more weight and a bigger engine size. that will be difficult to be ridden in the city on a day-to-day basis. That's when Ninja 650 was ruled out of my books. Then I was considering, okay, now what options do I have? I was considering Ninja 500 was not there last year. Only Ninja 400 was there. So Ninja 400 was one bike that I was considering. No, I was not considering the R3 and the Ninja 300 because those bikes, they are brilliant motorcycles. They have proved themselves in the last maybe 10 or 8 years in Indian market, and the engine reliability, the kind of top end power these bikes have, cannot match any other bike within 300 to 400 cc segments. So why I did not consider these bikes is these bike make their torque figures or power figures higher in the rev band. I wanted something which has the torque lower in the rev band. So KTM Duke 390 used to do very good with respect to the torque in the mid range. So when you are above, let's say, 4000 rpm and you pull the motorcycle used to set the streets on fire. That's the kind of aggression it has had in the low end, mid range. And the low end was the weakest point of Duke 390, where it used to struggle. You cannot be in a higher gear and lower rpms. Engine used to knock. There was the hesitation was felt from the engine that you cannot ride it in higher gears and lower speeds. And that's what I have been living with for the last 6 years, where I struggled in crawling traffic. But once you are past that crawling traffic phase, the bike used to absolutely accelerate like a maniac. Though it did not have the top end punch like the Ninja 300 or the R3, but yeah, it did have the punch in the mid range where I'll be using it for the most of my time riding in the city. And that's why I like that bike. So then comes the Aprilia RS 457. In September, suddenly Aprilia launched the global event, and they said that they are going to launch something like this. And it was an amazing looking motorcycle, a parallel twin engine, which was producing around 48 bhp of power. Power power figures were absolutely good. I did not have any problem with that. The second thing was when they released the official spec sheet in the month of December at the Goa IBW. That's when I came to know that the torque it's making is around 43.5 Newton meters at just 6,500 RPM. Now I'll tell you the difference between this and the R3 or the Ninja 300s, or to consider the Ninja 400 as well. These make peak power in the top rev band, and peak torque also comes somewhere higher in the rev range. But this one makes only at 6,500 rpm, and that's when I decided, okay, this is the bike that I need to purchase, because I need the torque in the lower end, not in the higher rev range, because I'm not going to use the entire rev band every day. Mid range and the low range of the rpm band is the place where I'll be spending most of the time, and that's where this bike shines. Now, coming back to Ninja 400, I didn't get the chance to ride Ninja 400 on a very nice patch of a stretch. I did get the chance to ride it in the showroom, which they gave as a test ride, though I could not judge it a lot. But the main thing why I ruled out that bike was it had a low ground clearance, and in the city, it is very difficult to tackle higher speed breakers when you want to commute on a day-to-day basis, and it keeps running in your back of your mind that whenever there is a huge speed breaker, you need to stop, you need to take it slowly. I do not want to have that hassle. Now let's talk about the ground clearance of the RS457. Though there is no official spec sheet number like how many it has, but the showroom guys told me that the RS457 has around 145 to 155 of ground clearance. I'm not sure about that, but in practicality, since I have been using it for the last 3 days, I was riding with a pillion on this bike, and I did happen to cross more than medium size speed breakers. It did not touch anywhere. Even the higher size speed breakers, no, not a problem. Even with the pillion, that is not a problem. So ground clearance is not at all an issue in RS457. Well, whereas when compared to the Ninja 300, which my close friend owns, that in that motorcycle we have to be very careful while riding in the city. Even a mid-size speed breaker, the rider has to take it slow, keep the legs down on the speed breaker, and then cross it. And that is not a nice experience that I wanted to have. So that's where this motorcycle shines. It has a nice ground clearance. Even Ninja 400 does not have that level of ground clearance which this bike has. R3 has a good ground clearance. So that was about the ground clearance. Next thing I want to talk about is the riding position. So because I commute a lot, riding position is also important for a person who is doing everyday commutes in the city. So, because one of my friend owned the Ninja 300, I have been riding it from past 2 years. We even took that motorcycle to Chikmagalur from Hyderabad, 800 kilometers straight up in one shot. So I was able to ride it for more than 4 to 5 hours on a straight stretch without taking any breaks. That's when I came to know that I not only street motorcycles, also fared motorcycles can be taken for touring. And I had a positive feeling about the clip-ons on this bike, that though it is a clip-on handlebar, but it is a little bit raised from the clip-on, so that gives a best compromise between sporty riding and comfortable ride in the city. So riding this motorcycle in the city is also not a challenge for me. So all in all, it's up to you. If you love the motorcycle, if you have the zeal to ride it every day, you'll be able to ride it. It depends on you, what is your preference, what is your taste. And to my taste, RS457 fits the bill, and that's why I have bought the Aprilia RS457, and this is a beast. So this is not a full ride review of the Aprilia RS457, but I'll tell you the character of the engine. In the mid range, you can say KTM Duke 390 was very good. It used to generate very good power between 4,000 to 8,000 or 9,000 RPM. This also generates very nice power, and it builds speeds with enthusiasm over there. So I'm not disappointed there. Where this motorcycle shines when compared to Duke 390 is in the lower RPM, let's say less than 4,000 RPM. You are in the third gear at 2,000 RPM. You pull the throttle, the bike accelerates. It does not hesitate to accelerate. And even if you don't want to accelerate, you just want to just give the throttle at around 10 or 15%, it does accelerate. There is no hesitation from this bike. And it is a gorgeous looking motorcycle. Who does not want a nice looking motorcycle? But then again, a big question comes, that is engine reliability, spare parts availability, service network, and the kind of expectation we can set from this motorcycle, because this is a new kid in the market as of now. So the same I did with Duke 390 when it launched. No, not everyone wanted to go for the first slot, but I did go for it. I know when you go for the first slot, you can face many issues with respect to service, spare parts, and issues with the engine. But I am ready to bear all those things, and that's the reason why I have gone ahead and bought the first slot of the RS457. I know it will not be a nice experience being the first slot owner, but I am ready to make those frequent visits to the showroom. Even if it takes weeks or months to get something fixed, I'm absolutely okay. But I want to be in those folks who can experience it for the first time and share. This time I have my YouTube channel growing, so I'll keep sharing all the experiences that I have with this bike. So yeah, that was the story about the Aprilia RS457. I hope you liked it, and I feel very good whenever I ride this bike. It's been just 3 days of owning it, and I am loving this motorcycle, guys. I'm loving it. So yeah, that was all about it. And whatever questions have been left in the previous videos, I'll try to make future videos on all those topics. You can follow this channel for more updates. I'll be uh, I'll try to be regular with respect to giving updates about this bike. And thank you again for all your lovely comments. Keep subscribed to my channel. It really motivates me. So I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.